Hey you guys, today I'm talking to you guys about My Hero Academia, Volume 5. And the cover is not just a cover just to be there. It is very indicative of what the plot is. Because the storyline here is all about Shoto. And it's like he has the most interesting character arc in this volume of My Hero Academia. So in this book, we kind of get like a kind of tournament setting for the spring festival that's going on. And it's very reminiscent of the Dragon Ball Z World Tournament, where you do have like those little brackets, and each person will fight each other, and the person would lose once they get out like the side of the ring. They wouldn't have to kill them; they would just have to get outside the ring, and the person who's still inside the ring would just move up, and that's how it would normally would go. Unless there's a tie, and I guess in that case they normally just did like for Bakugo when there was a tie throughout the issue. They ended up just doing an arm wrestle, and Bakugo ended up winning the arm wrestle. And throughout this entire volume, we kind of get that um, Bakugo and Shoto keep winning fights over and over and over again throughout this entire book, all the way up until Shoto gets to fight Deku. And up to this point, he hasn't been using his fire side at all. He's chosen not to use his fire side because of his father. His father really wanted him to use his fire side to show that who he is, because his eyesight is nothing but a weakness. It's his weakness. It's nothing to him, and he shouldn't ever use it at all. And he's we found out we get like little instances. We don't it doesn't actually say that happened, but we find a little instance where the father may have beat Shoto's mother. Like he may have abused her using his fire. He may have burnt her. He may have said her like done all these terrible things to her. And Shoto doesn't like that. He doesn't want to be like his father. And because of that reason, he's a little apprehensive to use his fire type, unless he just really, really has to. If he can use his ice power, then he'll use his ice power more than likely. Pretty much is the kind of idea here. And in the end, when he does fight Deku, Deku pushes him to the point where he has to use his fire ability because Deku says he won't stop doing this. He won't stop giving up on Shoto until he like accepts the fact that he is both fire and ice. And it doesn't make him like his father. That makes him different from his father because he does still have his ice ability. And then Shoto does use his fire attack and he defeats Deku, and Deku is defeated. Something that we never have seen before. Like I mean, we've seen it before. I should have mentioned that there was a spoiler warning too. Because Deku doesn't get defeated. Of course, he's the main character in this storyline. And that normally hardly ever happens where, like, the main character is defeated in like, the tournament. Normally, we see a world tournament of things like Dragon Ball Z or GT or things like that. Whenever there's a world tournament, the main character usually 95% of the time always wins, with some exception. Or at least he gets to, like, that point where he's, like, close to winning. He's just second. He's like the runner-up, essentially, if nothing else. So it's kind of interesting that Deku doesn't even get there. He doesn't even touch the number two spots. He's in the final two battle. The big final boss battle is between Shoto and Bakugo. That is interesting to me. And Shoto and Bakugo fight it out, and Shoto ends up losing. And he doesn't lose because he's not as strong as Bakugo. In fact, he's actually probably stronger than Bakugo in many ways. Bakugo is just a hot-headed person. But at this point, he is kind of starting to kind of question himself a little bit more and question who he is as a person. And so he decides not to use his fire ability against Bakugo and just use his ice attacks. And in the end, he reveals to All Might that he's doing it because he has something that he wants to do before he can ever use his fire ability again. And at the end of the volume, we kind of get to see Shoto meet his mother, who is Let me show you a little page. Let me get this. See, he gets to meet his mother, who's lying sick in the bed right here. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, that's his. Here's this page. See, it's a nice little simple little white page. And that's kind of where that story kind of ends off. So overall, I really enjoyed this volume. I thought it was a really strong showing of My Hero Academia. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Yes, it was mostly action. I won't lie there. It was a battle. It was fight after fight after fight after fight after fight. But Shoto's character development in it was so interesting and so compelling that it made me really like this volume overall. And I definitely say that this My Hero Academia Volume 5, I definitely would recommend people definitely should pick up if you get a chance to. Because it's really, really neat and interesting. So you guys, this is my review for My Hero Academia. Please subscribe for more comic book and manga reviews. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.